Hey guys, it's Beth from Bible Journaling at Shady Grove. Uh, we are going to be painting a watercolor ocean beach top scene with waves coming in. And we're going to use a mint green, a turquoise blue, and a dark gray blue. And I first traced some waves with my pencil, and now I'm going in first with the turquoise blue. And the verse we're working on today is 2 Corinthians 1 verse 4, and it's talking about Jesus, who comforted us in all our tribulation, that we may be able to comfort them which are in any trouble by the comfort wherewith we ourselves are comforted of God. And I chose that verse to go along with giving a testimony. Thought it kind of matched that because we can take what God has done for us and what Christ has done for us in our lives and use that to uplift others and to let them know what God has done for us and how He saw us through these valleys or these different difficulties and trials that we faced in life. So I keep adding my turquoise blue and then my mint color green on top of each other, and I dry in between layers, and it takes a lot of layers to give this like an ocean top look. And if I get too much, I have been taking out my paper towel and dabbing that up, and now I'm coming in with the dark gray blue on top of that. I put the lighter colors closer to the surface of where my beach is going to be up there in the white, and the darker colors towards the back. And with this watercolor, you can paint right over your text and still be able to read it. When the water starts pooling up really bad, I like to take my paper towel and just dab that and pick up some of those pools of water and color, and it creates some kind of lighter spots within your water and also some darker spots of color, and I like how that looks. And after I kind of dabbed that up and dried it, I went back in again with my dark blue gray, and I just keep working on that layer, and I dab up when it pulls up to how I like it. And it takes several layers. Some of this I have sped up, but this right here was real time. And this is fast. Once I finished adding layers to my water, I'm going to put my beach, my sand first before I put the white on my waves. And I just kind of mixed that peach color and that light brown color. I put them on a paper plate and mixed those together after I had gotten my colors wet. I didn't paint these straight out of the tray. I mixed water into the watercolor palettes and poured it onto a paper plate so that way my watercolor will be light and not so dark and sticky. And I didn't like those big pools, so I just kind of dabbed those up. And dried it. I'm going to add the white on my waves. I took 2 size brushes, a smaller size and a very small size round tipped brush, and white acrylic paint. I took the white acrylic paint and added a little water in it to thin it and mix that around so it wouldn't be so thick. And then I first start at the top of my wave there, and if you notice, I'm just kind of smashing that paint on there to give it kind of like a not a straight line, but a very wiggly line, because I want it to look like water. So I just add that all along the edges where I had drawn with pencil for my waves, because I didn't erase that, and the white acrylic paint will cover those lines up. So that way you have that as a reference of where your waves are coming in. You can make them pretty thick on the edges with that white foam. And I just added that all along the edges of my pencil marks and my waves there. And you notice I did some on the edge, and then I had some waves that were behind that, and I'm also outlining those with white. Now I'm going to go in with my smaller paintbrush and create some of those wave details, some of those lines kind of cracking out in the waves, the foam. Remember when you're using this white acrylic paint that if you want to read your words later, don't paint over those with this paint because you won't be able to read them later if you want to use this as a study Bible or something like that. Now, when I started doing this, I was not crazy about these lines I had created, but I went all the way through and finished adding the white all the way through these waves, these lines and little crackles like stems coming out of them. And when I got done, I took my deep blue and my turquoise watercolor and painted over the top of those white lines, and it ended up looking pretty cool like that. So I just kept adding these lines, even though I wasn't crazy about them, and I just kept working with it. And then in the end, you'll get to see how I kind of covered those up with the turquoise, mint green, and the deep gray blue watercolor. There's the mint green going on top of some of those white lines. Kind of blends them in and made them look more like a wave, I thought. Then I added the deep blue, the dark gray blue. And I also went back over my white lines a little to make them a little bit more bold. So I went back over that as well with my white acrylic paint. And there's more of that blue cover up. When I got my waves looking like I liked them, I went ahead and I added my lettering. I didn't letter the whole verse. I put He comforts us in tribulation so that we may comfort others. And I did that in a basic cursive going with the wave. Our finished page, starting at the bottom of the ocean there, going up to the wave. He comforts us in our tribulation so that we may comfort others. Here's our completed page. I hope that you're able to recreate this in your own Bible. If you have any questions about materials or how to do this project, just let me know. Thanks.